sunrise.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. After an exciting and entertaining Game 1, we saw the return of the Vici Gaming Morphling from Ice Ice Ice. We've got Game 2 coming up. Vici Gaming taking on CDEC. We'll see if CDEC can bounce back, force a Game 3, or if Vici Gaming are going to 2-0 their way to the winner bracket final. And then it's just one match away from the Summit 4, because 2 teams will be qualifying from China, so all these teams have to do is win this series and then one more, and they'll get 2 shots of it. So you lose that best of 5 winning bracket final, you drop down to the lower bracket, and you get one more shot to make it to LA to compete for over $100,000 and more, and counting with the crowdfunding. Guys, it's time. Game number 2 coming your way. Lyrical, how you doing, buddy? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready. Super duper excited for this one. A great matchup already going to be seen. A little bit of changes coming out from CDEC in terms of what they're prioritizing. They do opt to ban out the Undying this time, but as we mentioned, that wasn't necessarily the thing that we both felt like was the big problem with the draft. Mainly it was that Morphling and the Alchemist, respectively, who were just tearing people apart and being able to farm on up a Storm. And I'm kind of curious if we might see a first phase pick out of these ones. Yeah. Spirit Breaker hasn't been taken out yet. You did mention that he's a very prevalent hero, but I don't know. You gotta kind of respect what ended up taking you down last time.
If Vici Gaming really want to push the limits and say, let's see just how good this strategy is, they might just pick Alchemist Morphling as their first 2 picks. And it's something where the cat's already out of the bag. Teams now know, okay, Alch, Morphling, Undying, or at least like 2 of these 3 heroes is one of Vici Gaming's strats. So you can really just, keep on working at it and to kind of test it, play it in some more officials to see how competitive it's going to be by opening with it right here. I think that's definitely a possibility. We'll see what the 2 teams have in mind, though. Vici Gaming may want to test something else out. They may have something else which they feel is just going to get them the win, because ultimately, like, experimenting is nice and all, but these teams want to make their way to LA to come to the LAN finals. So one more ban for Vici Gaming. We'll see what they have their eyes set on as far as taking out. Right now, the Doom, I don't think we're ever going to see a Doom. This hero just seems too good. And then Shiki's Lina banned out. You kind of mentioned a hero that may have been, well, actually, no, it was Roland here in the production who mentioned we need Shiki on something a bit more like a CDEC style hero rather than the SF of last game, which seemed more kind of carry-centric. So Lina gets banned out this time around.
Yeah, and if you do end up knowing that they have the possibility to go for the Alchemist, and you think about maybe wanting to go for that again as Vici, you would have wanted to formulate your draft around being able to burst down that hero, and what better way than with a Laguna Blade right into his dome. And I think that works pretty well. And you're seeing now as well a Tusk going to be picked up by CDEC. If they do end up picking something potentially like a Queen of Pain follow-up, that's a lot of burst damage that could come out very swiftly with a Walrus Punch, Snowball, Shards, into a Sonic Wave, Scream, Dagger. You should be able to burst down that Alchemist no matter where he's at on the map, as long as you're able to find him and get those heroes into position. So depending upon what lineup they want to go, I think they at least with this time being able to have that Tusk already set up and ready to go, another answer. And actually Queen of Pain is going to be taken by Vici instead.
Okay. So the quad pickup pretty open-ended as far as their opening draft is concerned. Doesn't really secure any of their lanes. In fact, Super not really known for his Queen of Pain play. So if anything, I see this and think, oh, it's kind of flexible, and they may just be leaning more towards running as a safe lane for Burning, as an off laner for Ice Ice Ice. Burning's actually played probably more Queen of Pain games than Super has, despite being known as kind of the big carry player of the Chinese Dota scene. So I think Vici Gaming themselves aren't like in the mindset like, okay, we pick Quap for this player and for this lane. It's very much like we just pick Quap because it's completely open-ended. CDEC won't know where it's going. We can then react to what they pick and formulate our strategy around the Queen of Pain. And Spirit Breaker to go with it. Again, similar scenario where this could be an offlane hero for Ice Ice Ice, or at the same time can be played as a support. And it's a hero that fits any kind of play style, any kind of strategy. It's not like you've picked a hard carry and you've got to protect it. This is a hero that can play aggressive. You can fit it into a push strat. You can fit it into a team fight lineup. So very versatile, both of the Vici Gaming heroes so far.
Yeah, definitely. And that versatility is going to allow them to deal with whatever CDEC end up throwing at them. I think just mentality-wise, when I see these 2 heroes, I get a little bit terrified. And last game, what you saw was Vici sort of charging through the opponents and tearing them down by virtue of the farming they were able to do, the big lead they were able to build. This time, with the levels that you can get on these heroes and the space that they're able to sort of create around the map, I think that there's a real possibility that if CDEC don't respond appropriately, they're just going to get rolled over here, depending upon what the next picks are for Vici, of course. And Winter Wyvern, I think, is always a great pick if you do have the inkling that somebody might be going for some type of early push. Splinter Blast is great at pushing out those waves.
Yeah. And the one thing it doesn't give them is a way to kind of deal with the charge, which right now you often see teams pick up like a Rubik in response to a Spirit Breaker, but I think all in all, Winter Wyvern is going to offer a lot more than a Rubik can. It's kind of like guaranteed impact in a fire, whereas with a Rubik, it's like, okay, it may work, it may not, depends what spells you end up stealing. Can you get your hands on a Sonic Wave? Can you get like a Blink from the Queen of Pain for a Blink initiation? So I think the Winter Wyvern just more well-rounded and a lot safer of a pick for the CDEC side, even if they don't yet have an answer or want any way of countering the charge from the Spirit Breaker. Ember gets banned out, so another hero that CDEC love to run and is good against the charge. So options will be fewer for CDEC as far as their draft.
Absolutely. And another ban here coming out in a second from Vici. We do see the Brood Mother banned out as well. All over the world, the people hate the Brood. There's no real surprise there at all. It's certainly a hero that can really change the way that you have to play your game. And I think that losing to a Brood Mother is probably one of the more painful things to end up happening, besides potentially that terrible nature's prophet disgustingness that sort of infests the pubs as well. But Slardar and then a Gyrocopter. So if I'm looking at this right now, I am seeing early aggression, team fight, tear you down once you get those level 6s.
Yeah, that's very accurate. And I think one of the nice things they've also done with this is they've banned out 2 of Aggressive's hero, Ember and Slardar, and then they take one of his other big heroes, the Gyrocopter. So CDEC are suddenly running kind of short on options for their safe lane farmer. Aggressive's other hero he played a lot of in 6.84 was Phantom Lancer, but that hero has one of the worst win rates in 6.85, just not a hero that seems to win games whatsoever, so I don't feel like it's a good pick here at all. CDEC for now will get a Darkseer, and I think they've really got to think hard about what they pick for their safe lane farmer this game, because that could just win or lose in the game right there.
Yeah, Vici immediately respond as well here after the Gyro pick in the Darkseer with the Dazzle. And I love this pick right here because Dazzle, another hero that, while very, very defensive, can also be somewhat aggressive with a heal bomb, and Spirit Breaker being able to be all up in people's business. It seems like there's definitely that possibility. But as well as a Gyrocopter, you need that defensive support to keep you alive because he does attract a lot of attention. You're in the middle of people with call down, throwing out abilities. You want people want to burst you down. And if you're a Dazzle, then you're going to be able to keep them alive with the Shallow Grave. You get a full duration Rocket Barrage off on top of somebody. Likewise for CDEC, picking on up this Darkseer, it sort of doubles down on that potential to push out lanes while simultaneously have the ability to defend with the wall and vacuum. And then they follow it up with a big tanky Viper here.
Yeah, not a particularly flashy or exciting hero, but a very solid one. Will just sit mid, win the CS battle, and kind of build up towards some of those key items that you might need for your lineup. So we're not going to see a lot of it's not a very active hero, but Shiki often plays heroes that kind of sit mid for a bit more, look more for the lane control, and then just group up with his team later on. It's Aggressive's hero which needs to be active now as a result. Something that can get a lot of benefit from the Iron Shell, the Surge, the Darkseer can provide. Slark gets banned out, so Vici Gaming are very much targeting bans on heroes that can kind of combo with the Darkseer.
Yeah. And not a ton of options really left as far as where it's going to go. For Vici, I think that they still are very open-ended in terms of what they might want to do. It's starting to look more and more like this is probably going to be a Queen of Pain mid. I don't imagine it's going to be in the offlane there, but Spirit Breaker can kind of go either way at this point. And I kind of would like at this point, Undying has already been banned out, the Tusk's been taken. What do you think about something funky like an Earthshaker? Is that too outside of the meta at this point?
It's all right. I think for Vici Gaming, it gives them a pretty good setup and here to have around for the Gyrocopter with the cooldown Rocket Barrage, so he can run in with the Fissure, guarantee himself a cooldown. If not that, you could even consider something like a Clockwork, but Beastmaster comes out, so it will be a support Spirit Breaker, it looks like, although Beastmaster as well, every now and then you'll see like a full position Beastmaster. I don't think it's particularly strong, though.
Yeah.
So
I like this pickup a lot more than the one that I mentioned earlier. So the other key component that they were a bit missing was the ability to really have a ton of map control. And I think that that Hawk is definitely going to be able to give them the sort of vision over the Roshan area when that does end up coming up as well. And I think that obviously Vici don't have a great lineup to be able to take it themselves based off of what they have, but they have a great lineup to contest it, I think. And they probably can take it once they get a medallion up on somebody, but it's not going to be that like really early take that you see with the TA or something else like that.
yeah. So we'll see CX last pick, still most likely looking for their safe lane farm unless they really go funky and put the Viper there. I like the idea of something like a Jug. We saw the Jug last game from Burning, and I think it could work for aggressive to go for that Max Blade Fury fighting Jug with phase drums and just come to the fights early, smoke up with your team, go for kills. Works okay with the Darkseer. It's not the best Iron Shell hero to have, but it's still pretty good. Sven, though, going to be the hero of choice, so similar kind of thing. Sven has a bit more late game farm potential. Normally when we see Svens in the safe lane, it's played in a very greedy fashion where you're maxing the cleave early, you have support stacking up the jungle, the ancients for you, and you're not really fighting. But I'm curious to see if aggressive says, look, that's not how I'm going to play the Sven. I want to go for the early treads, drums, and go running around with my Darkseer and go for kills. We may even see him go for the max Stormbolt rather than going for the cleave, which most Svens are doing. So I'm very interested to see which style he chooses for this hero.
Yeah, or even going for something like a Blink Dagger as well to be able to hop on into the fray and chase on after these heroes. And you mentioned as well earlier, being able to interrupt that charge is really important. Sven obviously has the potential to do that. Again, the problem that you do end up facing with Sven is the mana concerns. And I'm, like you said, as well curious to see how he deals with that. I think that that's where the treads and drums ends up paying off a little bit more for you. So a lot of answers, a lot of questions that need to be answered in this lineup. And hopefully CDEC have those answers for us and we'll be seeing what they are very soon.
Yeah. So Vici Gaming will be running not an offlane Beastmaster, mid Beastmaster for Super. Kind of known for playing some of these tempo controller mids. He's done a few Beastmasters in the past. He played a lot of the Alk mid. He's kind of been less of the kind of carry, flashy mid player. Doesn't really play the Queen of Pains. The SF he plays, but he goes for the more kind of slow-paced, team-oriented mech BKB type build. So it will be an offlane Queen of Pain. Ice. Going to be handling that one, and that does leave Burning in the safe lane Gyrocopter. So all in all, I like this. I don't know if I think I like this, but I think Beastmaster as a mid, some games in the offlane he can just get zoned out and bullied too much, but as a mid you're kind of guaranteed to get a decent time on your Necro book and to be able to just have a high impact on the game. And despite being a melee hero, I think he should do at least okay against the Viper mid. He's going to lose the CS battle a little bit, but he should be able to at least get enough farm and a fast enough level 6 that when he gets level 6, you just call in like a Spirit Breaker charge or a Queen of Pain rotation, and suddenly you've got a kill on Viper.
Yeah, I think you're right there. He probably is going to have to play it a bit more like a Magnus, where you end up just passing out those nukes. There's the snowball forward, and you need to get out of there very quickly. He's going to connect onto 3, though. Oh, God, from the backside as well. That's going to end up being super stop at the very beginning, and Beastmaster drop in. Do they have enough to take down Fenrir? They do as well. Tusk is going to take a couple more right clicks, though, so another very early aggression start. And Viper as well, able to get a kill on the Queen of Pain up top. What is going on in this game, gods?
I'm not really sure. Whoa, snipe at mid. The wild axis from Super actually kill the Viper meanwhile. Super now getting body blocked at mid. A charge coming in. I don't know if they'll get this kill. They haven't got mana for another stun. Aggressive actually already used his Mango. I'm a little speechless. Q may even die here. We're not done yet. Possibly. And no Venom, so doesn't have the slow. Q should be able to escape. So it looks like both Viper and Quap went for the top bounty rune, and Quap lost. No, Quap actually went Shadow Strike level 1, which is where the kill happened. So I imagine Ice just got chased down and didn't have a blink escape.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a crazy little situation to see the start off with 5 kills at under a minute here, and I do like, oh, Snowball is going to catch onto the Queen of Pain, but she's going to be able to blink away from that one. But look at how aggressive you're seeing this Viper be, like way under tower at this point, not at all afraid of anything that's going on here. The plus side is that the Beastmaster was able to get his bottle on up and has gone 1-1-1 essentially now in terms of his kills, deaths, and assists. So he's getting more farm than you would expect, and I think that is really what he needs at this point, because he needs to be able to toss it out those wild axes to get the CS, because otherwise he's not really going to be able to do, I think, a ton against this Viper.
Yep. And for now, it's actually going for a second point early in boards. You can last hit with your boar as well. You get the double boar going. These things actually have decent damage output, so it's not all hope's not lost just as a melee here against a Viper when you for a Beastmaster because of that factor. So I could see him like level 4, especially with 2 points in axes, 2 points in the Call of the Wild, being at least competitive in the mid lane as far as CS goes. He's throwing out axes now. We'll continue to just use those whenever possible to get CS, and with a bit of bottle crowing, with some runes going his way, it looks like he won't get any runes, but we'll just bottle crow once more. We're seeing at least even CS with the Viper for now. I say for now because the Viper will get a few more levels, and that could change with more points in the poison attack.
Yeah. Well, and the slows abound in this lane. The boars are going to be hitting away, and the Viper is going to be doing the same type of thing, denying out the boar as well. Always a classy move to do that. It's going to be super. And the other thing, I mean, he's gotten changes to his right-click damage, now dealing 73 with just the one Iron Branch. It's really impressive the way that he's been able to be transformed into more and more of a mid player. I mean, he was before in the earlier patches, but consistently actually being a pretty strong presence here. So Boots now as well is going to make sure that he doesn't end up getting chased on down by this Viper, who's just a pain in the butt to deal with in lane.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give him a dirty look.
Trying to throw axes from afar just to get last hits now. And this is where Viper, when the lane's pushed out and Viper's level 5, he will keep you at your tower. You can't push him away with the boar because the boar is too squishy. So nice laning coming out from Shiki here in the mid against Beastmaster, but it still hasn't really punished the Beastmaster that much. He's still got similar CS. He's half a level behind, which is the main worry, and he is getting harassed a lot more, but he's still at least getting what he needs to out of this mid lane.
Yeah, certainly. We'll mention real quickly, gonna need to be a little bit careful here. Viper, if you end up having to run away, that's not the situation maybe. But this Winter Wyvern, while stacking up the camps, was also just jungling the medium camp to make sure that she got a little bit of extra levels at the same time. Kind of an interesting move. You don't often see a Winter Wyvern jungling just with the right clicks.
Yeah.
But if you're
the
there, why
Alpha
not?
Wolf camp. Yeah, that is something a bit different, but the Alpha Wolf camp, one of the best camps to kind of clear out early because it gives the most gold as well as XP for how easy it is to kill. The downside being they dish out a lot of damage, but as a range hero, you just kite it around. So the Alpha Wolf camp, definitely your friend as a range support as far as camps you can look to kill.
Well, and Viper now, let's have the healing salve, the Ring of Aquila, going to be able to get that slow mana regen back up. A DD rune up on the Beastmaster. It's going to be able to get those denies out, and I feel like this lane is going to be pretty passive until we see some more rotations.
Yeah, and those
over here.
rotations could well come. I think Supers wants to hold the DD rune till he's level 6. Problem is, it may take a little while to still get level 6, because if he can get the Roar up with the DD rune and have a rotation from either Dazzle or the Spirit Breaker, that should be a kill on the Viper. Obviously, it's not going to be as simple as a 2v1 there. There'll be counter TPs or rotations from someone like a Winter Wyvern, potentially even Sven or a Tusk, whatever it may be, but that's kind of the general idea now for Vici Gaming, is once Super gets level 6, bring him back up, go for a kill on Viper.
While top lane, the Queen of Pain has been able to get a good amount as well. Level 4 currently trading hits with Aggressive. Both of them just sitting comfortably at their levels, and I think that right here it's going to be hard for you to get really any kills in any of these lanes until you get some type of rotation around. And Darkseer actually going to move on over into the jungle himself and take on out a few of these maybe stacks that potentially the Sven would have wanted, considering he has been somewhat rebuffed.
What build? Okay, so far Sven going for the early game build, like the non-farming build. He's got 2 points in stun, 2 in Warcry. Isn't leveling up the cleave just yet. Has saved 1 skill point, it looks like. So we'll have to see where he goes next. And for now, Ice is getting bullied out of this top lane a bit. But yeah, it does look like Darkseer is going to get the stack priority for now, and Sven will be looking to go for more of a aggressive style carry where he gets involved more rather than he farms.
Ooh, this is a nice little combo as well. The Winter Wyvern Cold Embrace into the Ion Shell, making sure you clear on out the stack. Oh, now they're going to chase on over here. I feel like, considering you have the Beastmaster and the Queen of Pain, as soon as you get a couple more levels up on these heroes, you're going to be able to maybe steal some of these stacks, which might be another reason why they're having the Darkseer clear them out right now.
Yeah, and absolutely. And also clearing them out without bringing in the Sven means it's just less likely to get caught. So Super as well as Ice were trying to make their way in, but CDEC just keep them away. There is that risk of the Roar. Here we go, mid lane. Viper Strike comes out. Super getting initiated on multiple TPs. Dazzle being the first, so there will be a grave if Super needs it. Actual Spirit Breaker TPing in first, and he's still got a charge. Goes in on Q, gets cancelled. That's the Vici Gaming support rotations, just turning that one around with a Roar.
Yep, and just like that, you end up getting out to a little bit of a lead. It's not the Viper that they were wanting to take, but is at least going to be able to take on out that Tusk, and already heard a somewhat hampered Tusk who hasn't really been able to make his presence felt a ton on this map. Another stun on top of Warnuts in the top lane. This might be able to get a kill here. Scream of Pain comes out, another right click, but the armor is too much. Ooh.
Almost turns around for both of them, I guess. So both players will go back to Fountain now. Sven just treads wand. Nothing really obvious as to where he's going to go out of this build just yet. Actually got a third point in Warcry there, so very heavy on the bonus armor as far as his build's concerned.
And here comes the smoke on up with Burning. It looks like they might want to come and try and take these stacks here. They do have the bird up in the air to make sure that they have vision on everything, and they do spot out a double, but they're looking for a little bit more at this point and might be trying to take on out the Winter Wyvern. There's the Challen forward, the call down as well. He's not going to be able to get the Cold Embrace off before he falls, and that's enough to kill that Winter Wyvern with the rotation.
And they used the cooldown, which probably wasn't needed, but it's very much, let's get this kill as fast as possible, and it can set up for this tier 1 tower cake, but already CDEC in position to defend it. They've got the Tusk there for an Ice Shards. Aggressive has returned after healing up, so don't really see Vici Gaming likely getting this, which means Burning's rotation, while not ineffective, doesn't quite get what Vici Gaming maybe had in mind.
And unfortunately, because Queen of Pain is only level 5, isn't really a great point in time for them to contest this. Now, you end up coming back in a couple of seconds here after you take this stack as the Gyrocopter with your call down back up and maybe the Queen of Pain having finished her level 6. Then you have an opportunity to turn this back around with one more rotation, depending upon who it is. Maybe just the Spirit Breaker charging back in again, but just going to be stacking on at the Ancients for now.
Yeah, with the cooldown already back, that's the other reason why you do use the cooldown just for the Wyvern. It's got such a short cooldown as far as ultimates go that you can just continually use it for kill after kill after kill. Beastmaster so far fairly quiet. Is going for what we see Fata do on his mid Beastmaster, which is just 2 points in the axes, you max your Call of the Wild, and then go back for the aura. Love to see if he keeps getting points in the aura, but when you get the fast Necrobook, your Necrobook gets the benefit of the bonus attack speed from the aura, so you actually have better damage output with just 2 points in axes and max aura than you do maxing out your wild axes. So I really like this build that on the mid Beastmaster.
He's such an interesting hero in the way that he works and sort of being able to use, I mean, obviously it's in the name, all of his little beasts to, you know, do his work throughout the whole course of the map. And I think creates an interesting dynamic there. FY might be a little bit of trouble. They're sort of squaring off against each other down in the bottom way. There's the Warcry after they end up spotting him. Shallow Grave not quite out. Doesn't end up popping out the COD Strength. A couple of rotations. The call down is going to hit on the first time as well as the Rocket Barrage. Aggressive is going to fall, getting a scream in the ear and followed up by the Darkseer going down to the Beastmaster after popping the DD.
Well, Vici Gaming, yeah, it's a big commitment of heroes, but they're killing off a Sven and Darkseer, 2 cores. So even if they bring 5 heroes for that, it's well worth it because who's actually farming on the side of CDEC? It's a support Wyvern up top who's just trying to get level 6, a Viper at mid. The Viper probably the scary of the two who's farming, but it's not a big deal. Vici Gaming didn't even have to bring 5, it was just 4 heroes. Fenrir was still at mid, so a very nice exchange for them.
I feel like at this point, if Spirit Breaker was level 6, might have tried to go for that kill on the Viper. They are going to be able to get the charge on up into the top lane here. I don't think that this is really to try and get any type of kill or anything. He's just wanting to soak up a little bit of EXP so that way he gets his 6. And meanwhile, the Winter Wyvern going to TP down to the bottom lane to just push it on out, get her level 6 up as well, and should be able to get that maxed out Splinter Blast relatively soon to one-shot the range creeps.
So size nearby sees the stack here with a Hawk, but he blinks away. I was a bit worried about the Sven catching him out. And wow, max Warcry from aggressive on the Sven. This is not a build I've seen on the Sven. Definitely expected him to go for more of a fighting build, and I think quite likely will go back to the max stun, but we'll have to wait and see. Getting an early point in cleave, he may decide this will turn into a farming game. Has picked up a Helm of Iron Will, so either a Dominator or a possible Armlet for the Sven.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't, like you said, have never seen a Sven wait this long for the cleave, really, but it's going to give him a lot of single targets damage, definitely, and the extra armor has kept him alive except through that last fight. I think that also against the Beastmaster, it's going to help with their push because you're not going to have to be dealing with all of the little individual itty-bitty damage coming out from the Necronomicons as well as the boars and everything. Like, it synergizes well with whatever else is going on this map.
Physical damage gets heavily negated by 20 armor to all allies in an AoE around you, and it's a 14-second cooldown. This is actually ridiculous how much armor it gives you for an 8-second duration. That there's only 6 seconds of downtime for this spell. That is, it's absurd, and the physical damage is pretty significant from a Beastmaster, especially once he gets the Necrobooks up. But elsewhere, I mean, it's still, like, I feel like for Vici Gaming, it's 70 to 80% magic damage. The 20 to 30% of the Beastmaster being physical can be largely negated from the Warcry.
Well, and the other thing as well that's a little bit clunky about it is that we have a TP on up to defend this top lane by the Viper. Not really going to be any big fight brewing out there, though. I guess the point that I was going to make, as we do look like they actually are looking for a fight with the Beastmaster rotating up, is that it feels like that's a spell that you could maybe go back for, because a lot of the damage that comes out in the mid game from VG is going to be in the form of the magical and the pure coming out from like the call down as well as the sonic wave from the Queen of Pain. It all feels like maybe the real right click damage comes a little bit later, and I don't know, maybe that is a point that you could have gone back for and be able to farm since they're not really taking fights right now.
Yeah. The one thing it did do, we saw a little bit of mid lane. It does help you push. You just use Warcry on the creep wave, and the tower doesn't do very much damage at all to the creeps. So just playing devil's advocate, I think there's very much, it's hard to say whether or not this was the right way to build, and it does mean he's not farming particularly fast. He hasn't been able to farm stacks. He's only got his first point in cleave now. And I imagine this will be a Helm of the Dominator. You can use it to stack Ancients and fight bottom lane. Kill on the queue. Another cooldown Rocket Barrage. Burning. Find one kill, but maybe taken out in return. Sven comes in with the God Strength. It looks like they will get the Gyrocopter. 1-for-1 trade. Carry for support. CDEC will be pleased with that one.
Yeah, and wasn't quite able to get into position, FY, to tossing out that grave. That's really why you need that hero, is to be able to make sure that you're consistently able to keep your Gyrocopter alive in the middle of those fights. The turnaround Winter's Curse, I thought that it was going to be a little bit of a waste, but was actually able to be somewhat useful. And Spirit Breaker, I feel like they might realize that they're charging across the map as he runs through the mid lane.
I think they know there's some TPs bottom. CDEC can't help him out that easily. Okay, yeah, they can. The TPs have come back up. Proving me wrong. And Fenrir's like, what's going on, guys? This is a bit of a trap.
A couple of a little bit strange plays coming out here, but gonna be able to at least defend that one. So the Viper does stay alive at the end of the day, and Spear Breaker, he wants to do what a Spear Breaker does, which is charge around. Unfortunately, wasn't able to charge away at the end of it. I think the other thing that I was just thinking about as we were talking about the armor is it also does negate the early weave coming out from Dazzle. So it sort of counterbalances the fact that you're already going to be having minus armor in the form of his weave. So I guess that's a little bit better. Sonic Wave to try and clear at the top.
So it looks like CDEC with this group up should be able to get this T1 tower barring a big Vici Gaming defense to be mounted, and it looks like they're doing just that. Spirit Breakers come up, as has the Dazzle. They're preparing to fight this one. No Sven up here, as the weave does get used offensively.
They'll be able to catch this tower, and they're not going to be able to defend it, unfortunately.
They just can't. This is the stage of the game where Viper kind of takes over. He gets really powerful. He didn't even have to go for the mech, so he's got treads and drums with an Aquila and the mech on the darks here. Very strong 5-man coming out of the CDEC side.
Well, and I think that that was something that I was thinking about in the laning stage here. We did see Vici try and prioritize shutting down both of the side lanes, and they were able to make it happen consistently. Winter Wyvern actually able to take out the Queen of Pain up top, expending the Winter's Curse yet again. But they didn't really shut down the Viper, and I feel like if you are able to shut down that Viper, the Gyrocopter gets a little bit fresh up in the top lane again, you really can't recover very well. So a little bit different, but maybe it's going to end up working out for them as well because you don't have... Let's be able to get out of there.
Let's say that was ambitious, but kind of reveals they had a lane ward as well. That was a long-range snowball for mid lane. Meanwhile, they're going on the Sven. Nope. Cancelled initiations coming from both teams.
They're thinking about it. They definitely want to potentially get aggressive. These are both sides that I feel like want to fight early and often. And given the lineups, whenever you have a Spear Breaker on your team, we saw there a little while ago, he wants to charge on in. He wants to be able to battle. Gyrocopter as well. Going to be working on that Sanj and Yasha and going to be able to consistently toss out those cooldowns. Both of these sides ready to go if it does come to that. FY in the mid lane is going to have to grave himself. Roar does come out as well as a charge in on top of them. The Wild Axes do fall. It is going to finally be the Dazzle Dead, so they're not going to have a grave for this fight. Cold Embrace is going to be able to keep alive this Viper. This might not be the initiation that you want to be able to go for. Fenrir is going to fall yet again. Does Ice Ice have enough damage to be able to burn this back around? And I don't think so. They need to disengage at this point. No, another vacuum back. They're going to be able to catch on the super. He's going to fall. Call down on the several heroes. He's doing a lot of damage. A sonic wave onto everybody. They're turning it back around, and we're going to end up seeing the Sven fall yet again to the rocket barrage. 4 heroes dead just when it looked really bad. Oh, and then jump forward.
Wow. That was just 2 heroes, Quap and Gyrocopter, winning that fight for Vici. The Sonic Wave and Call Down could not have been better.
How did she have that? Didn't
it
she
just came
use
up.
it up top?
That was a little while ago. It wasn't up when the fight initially broke out. I clicked the Quap and it was like 10-15 seconds away. And then when Gyro showed up, it was just the stars aligned. They had the wombo combo they needed. And the fact that CDEC had like a 4v2, they felt confident like, oh, we can actually chase down the Gyrocopter. It doesn't matter if he hits a cooldown because they were fine against the cooldown. It was the Sonic Wave as the 1-2 punch that secured all those kills. With just a cooldown flak, Gyro was not going to have the damage he needed. It was just barely enough out of Vici to team wipe CDEC, not just turn it around, stay alive, and get a kill or two. That was like a 2v4/2v5 scenario coming out of Vici Gaming.
It goes to show the communication that you've got on this team right here and the ability to sort of communicate. I'm sure that in that moment right there, they were yelling at each other over TeamSpeak or whatever software they're using, like 10 seconds, hold out until then, and they wanted to turn it back around, and we're able to make it happen. Meanwhile, now we're going to see the blink away. No, not able to get it. Ice does fall to the Winter's Curse. Unfortunately, Dazzle does manage to get in time to toss out the Weave, but not the Grave, and Queen of Pain is going to fall. Going to charge in again. It's going to be able to land on top of 2, but this is still a little bit ambitious. I'm never going to doubt him again, though. Buyback on the Queen of Pain. She's actually in the middle of all this. 25 seconds until the Sonic Wave is back up. Looks like they're going to go back for the Nether Strike on top of the Sven. Call down on top of several. Wall as well as the Vacuum. Gardner's starting to fall. He's going to end up going down another charge on top of the Viper. And that's 1 hero dead for each side now. The Tusk and the Spear Breaker. They're going to call it off for now.
Nice, ready to go with the Sonic Wave soon. But I think it's CDEC who maybe have the better position to keep on fighting. They put a Blink Stun. They can find a good jump, not to mention Viper Strike back up. And there we go. Sven blinks in, goes in on Ice, who gets Grave. Does look like that'll be enough for Ice to stay alive.
Necro Book level 3 is also picked up for Super, so going to start to play a big role in these fights despite the heavy armor advantage that they do have. I think also now the Aghanim Scepter going to be finished relatively soon on the Quap, only 800 gold away from finishing that one off. That is going to play a huge role in terms of their ability to really contest and fight against this squad that's really backboned by the Viper. Considering he does already have the 15 armor, the ability to have that pure damage to pierce on through it is going to play such a big role, and have that on a consistent low cooldown, 40 seconds with that Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, no, that'll be really handy for them. So we'll see. Probably just head towards the top lane to try and finish that one off. Have to be careful though, because CDEC I think will continue to try and fight, be aggressive. This Viper is just getting bigger and bigger as time goes on. Yasha now 2.6k gold, so potential SMY pickup, potential Manta style, even just the casual Yasha, pretty nice item to have as a Viper. But Vici Gaming, it's Gyro who's still the top of the net worth chart, so the standard kind of phase SMY BKB build will be the name of the game for Burning.
What do you think about the blink? Oh god, they're actually going to jump up on Queen of Pain again.
Done ready. They're going to have a vacuum to follow, and have they got the damage? Not quite 20 HP. Barely escapes. Another blink coming, but it won't be soon enough for Sven to chase it down.
What do you think about this blink pickup for the Sven? Do you think that he's going to be tanky enough to deal with the massive magical damage that's been coming out?
I think it's okay. If you want to tank it up against the magic damage, you go for a BKB, but if you go for the BKB too early, then you really suffer. Just from hearing what people like Envy have talked about when they're casting, and what you see with a lot of players and carry when they go for a fast BKB. Yes, it's an item that you have to buy this game, but if you buy it as your first item, it gets down to 5 seconds too damn fast, and that's really a big loss for a core hero who you basically want to try and hold off getting the BKB as long as possible. That's kind of, to me, what's become the general rule. If you can fight without it, that's why SMY's become so popular, because it's an item that gives great stats, gives you survivability in the form of hit points as well as movement speed. It's going to be a better option to get an item like that and then get the BKB later. So we're seeing more and more SMYs into BKBs, not because SMY is an amazing item or gives you anything that exciting. I mean, you look at what BKB does. It's magic immunity. SMY, it's stat points. Like, SMY doesn't actually do anything crazy, but the only reason people buy it before BKB is because they don't want a fast BKB. BKB is a weaker item the earlier in the game you get it, and that's where I think Sven, he hasn't gone for an SMY type item, he's gone for a blink, but if he got the BKB here instead and goes for the survivability option, he's going to struggle in the late game. So he gets the blink dagger first. Now we can go back for either a BKB, an SMY, something to kind of transition towards that late game item that can give him some survivability as well as damage output.
Gotcha. Well, and I think also here as well, the fact that you're getting a couple of Glimmer Capes up on these other supports does probably make a big difference in terms of your survivability against that magical damage. So I like it. The always aggressive, wanting to be aggressive, makes a lot of sense there as well to pick that one up. And it looks like he is going to be going back for it now after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, BKB recipe has been bought. So Gyro gets the bottom tier 1. CDEC unable to get in position to defend this one. Aggressive just pops a casual ulti. May look to farm up these Ancients with it, though. Yeah, looks like that's the plan. Was pinged out. Vici Gaming know about this.
Potentially wanting to contest it, but you got that God Strength coming out level 2. That's a lot of damage very quickly. Not really going to be able to get there in time. Aghanim Scepter now finished on the Queen of Pain as well, so she's ready to rock and roll. I think that there's also this sort of moment here for Vici where you don't necessarily want to fight before the Aghanims if you know it's coming quickly, because the cooldown is obviously so long before you end up getting it that just waiting those extra couple of minutes is, or even just minute or two that it ends up being, is pretty important. Do end up seeing another little range creep off to the side here that's going to get charged by Spirit Breaker.
Hey,
so much hate.
It stopped a stack. just took away about 150, 200 gold from your opponents. I guess that's worth it.
Yeah, it's totally. Why not? It's a pretty cool little play there. I always like to see those little things. It reminds me of the what was that? The Arteezy denying out the sniper from the creeps down there in the bottom lane. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but whatever, it's fine. I remember it. It was beautiful. 5-man smoke on through the mid lane, and they're going to look to try and contest down here and potentially see if they can find somebody taking the stacks, but not going to find anybody home. Oh, going for Roshan maybe.
Ooh, they have Hawk on their side, so they may be able to spot CDEC coming in. Right now, CDEC grouped up near this mid lane, so they can respond quickly. They've got a smoke of their own, and now may be the time to use it, but they've got to go fast, and it's going to be a Surge Viper illusion that scouts it out, but they're too late, it looks like. Roche is going to be dead I say that, CDEC, though, they're approaching this one.
The Charge on in. Sonic Wave on top of 3. They are going to be able to get the Aegis up on the Gyrocopter. He pops his BKB as well. Darkseer dropping a little bit low. We do have the the Winter's Curse coming out. Viper is able to take on down the Spear Breaker now and looking to chase a little bit further. Queen of Pain is up there on top of the Darkseer. She gets the Shadow Strike out, but the Snowball might have saved his life. We'll see if he's going to be able to survive with the Glimmer KP. I think that he's going to be okay here and just going to be able to get away from that one scot-free, only losing the Winter Wyvern for the Spear Breaker.
And Aegis and Roshan claimed by Vici Gaming, so all in all, good result for their side. And for CDEC, unfortunately, not being able to contest Roshan, but still not costing them much. They're still sitting fairly solid on their core heroes. Viper especially farming really well, now has a Manta-style Sven. Starting to get some good catch-up farm, has gone back for the cleave we talked about, and we'll have the BKB in a few seconds here, so we'll see Sven kind of build towards that late-game fighting items that will help him out, but not going to be easy to fight with the BKB. There's Raw as well as Nether Strike to go through it. Sonic Wave does damage through it, but most importantly, it's the control that the Beastmaster and the Spirit Breaker can provide.
Definitely. It's always such a pain when you're in there just wanting to try and hit away at those creeps and you end up getting knocked off course by one of those big old spells. And now with Beastmaster having the Blink Dagger as well, if you do end up getting into a situation where you want to try and find some type of initiation with the blinked forward by the Sven, if the Beastmaster's sitting behind you, you're going to be able to jump on in and disrupt the engagement. There's the jump forward. War is going to end up catching onto the Tusk, and he's going to fall apart immediately. Just too much damage.
Yeah, nice little free pick off. It looked like the Hawk giving vision they needed overhead there. It will expire now, but just using the map control advantage from the Beastmaster to take objectives like Roshan, to find pickoffs like they just did. Aggressive throws another God Strength here in the mid lane. Needs to get the BKB off, does do so. Knows there's no Raw to fight into, but Nether Strike could come soon here. Burning in the mid lane, has the BKB up, hold down there. The Winter's Curse is used. Sonic Wave completely off the mark, and it's aggressive on the Sven. He's trying to get a blink out, should be able to do so. Gets up to the north, onto the cliff here. Nice still chasing, but won't be able to catch up to him. So just the Tusk kill. A 5v5 fight and one dies. It really feels like these teams are just going at each other, but not many people are actually going down because of the great support and defensive plays coming out from Glimmer Capes, Cold Embrace, great stunts from a Spirit Breaker. But aggressive, I say that, he may still die.
Yeah, Sonic Wave, or not Sonic Wave, Sonic Wave's on cooldown, but Scream of Pain's still going to be able to be there. He is going to get one more right click and end up falling. The Sonic Wave was able to bring down the Sven a little bit, but he was the only one it hit onto, and that is definitely one of those spells where you want to be able to get it on the multiple heroes. Thankfully, they were able to get the kill off on the Sven at the end of the day, which I think does kind of make up for it. We do have a charge on over into mid. Spirit Breaker seeing the Viper does end up canceling that one. 2 more minutes up on this Aegis. We'll see if they try and take an objective with it.
Yeah, it looks like they are grouping around this mid lane. Ice size, no mana for a Sonic Wave, so he's picking out this top lane, probably trying to scope out whether or not someone like the Dazzle with Arcane Boots. Dazzle with Arcane Boots can come up top and probably give him that little bit of juice to keep this push going, but doesn't seem like Vici Gaming are wanting to fight now, considering there is no Sonic Wave. But I think this will be a free tier 2 tower. If CDEC do come and try to defend this one, it will be very difficult for them to take a fight, even with the Sonic Wave not being available.
Well, and it's a bit of an okay timing as well, just because it's right before level 16. But yeah, you mentioned it. There's the tower ends up falling.
They want to fight this one. Snowball, I don't believe it's going to connect. Nope, too far with the Blink Dagger. Super. Find some ice shards here. May just need a TP out, but let's see if he can find his way home. So there's going to be a Winter's Curse available. Yep, they'll use that on Super, so no escape for the Beastmaster. Couldn't quite find somewhere to fog the CDEC chase.
Yeah, a little bit too bad there. And now that that's level 2, the 100-second cooldown, a little bit more palatable to toss that out for a single hero, particularly the mid hero and the Beastmaster, who's sort of been able to cause a lot of havoc all over the map. And just having him off of there for a little while is going to ensure that you aren't worried about ganks as often. So you're going to be able to be a little bit more assertive in terms of each of your laning, where you're farming at least. Level 16 soon to come on this Queen of Pain, who's actually way across the map. She's going to go and try and get a courier snipe right now, it looks like, over on the side, and she's going to end up finding it. 1, 2, 3 should be enough to finish that one off. Nothing on it, but just a little bit of hate tossed the way of the Dire there.
Oh, poor. It's a rough life being a courier in a Dota game sometimes. Forward burning. Oh, his
Charging
Aegis
from
expires,
behind
but the
now.
Grave
They're
comes
gonna
into
end up
play.
catching onto
Perfect
the-
timing from
Oh,
Aggressive.
actually, Knight's Blade.
Oh, still going to cooldown. May look to turn this one. Aggressive wants to chase, but with his BKB wearing off in a second, he's got to be careful. Roar onto Shiki underneath the tier 3. Cold Embrace is there. The Sonic Wave as well goes through to some good damage, but the entire CDEC side is still very, very healthy here. Fenrir rocks up with a great nether strike. Will bash Aggressive, hits him with the 17%. Rolls lucky on the Casino, and we'll bring him down as now the cooldown onto 2. It looks like turn around with the snowball. No grave this time. Vici Gaming have lost 3, possibly a 4th and a 5th. Fenrir will just charge through, stun up 3, create room for the Queen of Pain to escape, and it's CDEC all day long, diving the enemy base. Ultra kill for Viper. That was just a mess for Vici Gaming.
You kind of wonder at that point, had the Queen of Pain been there at the very beginning of that fight to tossing out that Sonic Wave, would have been enough to turn it back around. And now CDEC very comfortable. Oh my god, that Sonic Wave dealt a lot of damage. They're going to run on home after that one.
Level 16, I guess, for you. The biggest thing, though, Burning's Aegis timing expiring there. They had the ward, it looks like, that spotted out the gyro behind the tower. So that was not like a blindly blink in as Sven. He timed that exactly. CDEC knew the exact second the Aegis was going to expire, and they jumped onto the gyrocopter as it did. Gyro did not get the BKB that he... Like, if he super fast fingers hits the BKB, he's fine there, but he's also thinking like, oh, I'm just blink stun, I've got Aegis, but maybe he wasn't thinking about that exact second when the Aegis was going to be wearing off. But CDEC, they knew, and they capitalized.
Absolutely. Looks like Gyrocopter, to deal with all of this physical damage that's been coming out on top of him, he's going to be going for that Eagle Song next. So once he gets that Butterfly, that's going to really be a turning point in this game. I do feel like the charge forward, looking for their potential to jump on top of Sven, but isn't going to be able to happen.
I think Gyro, his Butterfly going to take a bit longer now because of that buyback. He was like 700 or 800 gold short of it, and now he's got to climb his way back up.
Definitely. Darkseer Guardian Greaves, I was going to mention as well that for how disastrous that last fight ended up going, they didn't end up losing a tier 3 tower, which I totally thought they were going to. The fact that Ice was able to toss out that Sonic Wave and really hit onto 4, keep them pushed on back. If you have Guardian Greaves at that point instead, I think that you're able to sort of sustain the push, but not being able to have it, they did have to back on out. And Aghanim Scepter now also going to be picked up for the Viper.
Nice little pickup, being able to spam this out onto the Gyrocopter especially. The craziest thing to me about this game is we're 32 minutes in and we're seeing the biggest gold advantage yet, and it's only 3,000. A 3,000 net worth lead for CDEC. Absolutely nothing. These teams have been neck and neck from start to where we are now, and even now this 3,000 lead does not feel all that significant. The Gyrocopter's keeping up in farm. If not for that buyback, we would be pretty much looking at even Stevens on the gold graph. So right now, the two teams very much feeling like there is no kind of... there's no one with an advantage here in game number 2, despite how one-sided game number 1 was.
Well, and also just how one-sided a lot of the games in Dota have felt recently, that I feel like consistently there's some team that's always playing from behind, either because of an outdraft or because of just a misexecution play. And right now they're, like you said, very even, but not only even in terms of what the gold advantage is, also even in terms of how well they're going to scale into the late game. I think that both sides have a very real possibility of being able to take this late, and with the BKB already being finished on the Sven, of course, that's already down to 8 seconds, but likewise, on the other side of the table, you do have the Gyrocopter's BKBs down to 7 seconds, so it's going to be somewhat equal here.
It does affect the Sven more, I'd say, especially as a melee carry. It makes it a lot harder for him. He's more likely to get kited around. You've got spells like Shadow Strike, that can be annoying. There's no Poison Touch, I guess, which is good news for him, but the stuns from the Spirit Breaker, whatever it may be, it's more likely the Sven gets kited than the Gyrocopter. Well, Gyrocopter's going to get kited BKB or not because of Viper Strike. So for the Gyro, it's like, well, he's going to get slowed. He just needs to get his spells off and try and flack off something. So the BKB, much bigger deal for the Sven, but very much, I totally agree with your initial point. Both teams are going to go well into the late game. I think, if anything, CDEC maybe do slightly better. The Darkseer, Winter Wyvern, you've got Winter's Curse with a Vacuum. There's great synergy between these two heroes. Tusk stays relevant in the late game. Walrus Punch, Snowball being amazing spells. And he's got a Solar Crest on top of all this, so I really do feel like if either team does have a slightly better late game lineup, it is possibly CDEC here.
Well, and we'll see how it ends up working for them. I will say also the wave clear for Vici is pretty good in this matchup.
It's about to get better, by the way, with Queen of Pain building towards an Octarine core.
Oh, jeez.
30-second cooldown.
That is pretty disgusting.
Once per creep wave if you want. It's no longer every 40 seconds. You go down to 30 seconds, which is exactly how long it is between creep wave spawns.
Oh, there's the roar on top of the Winter Wyvern. That's the person that you want to take down at the very start of this fight. Does end up getting eliminated there. The Gyrocopter staying alive with the Shallow Grave. Does end up getting off the cooldown as well onto several different heroes here. Need to be able to get on out of there. Viper does take down the Dazzle. Both defensive sports. He's going to be able to make his way out. Oh, God, the stun. Dodged by the Beastmaster. Turning around a little bit more. Oh, going to be able to stay alive through the snowball with the Tusk. Nicely done there. Needs to get denied in a second, though, I believe. We'll see if that ends up happening here, or if he's going to survive through it.
Glimmer, that's going to be enough for him, I guess. All right, blocks with the magic damage, and check out Roshan, which not going to be the easiest, but Sven has lifesteal. Viper has plenty of damage, so successful team fight for CDEC. Man, I can't believe, and it really felt like they would have been able to kill the Gyro there. I don't think they had the detection. They had the gem, which I think was initially lost, but then recovered. Super now getting put out in the jungle. Viper, they actually stopped just going for Roshan to get these couple of kills. Burning now. He will end up dying, and Shiki is on a beyond godlike streak. Viper, I normally think, oh yeah, it's great in the early game, can push down some towers, he's kind of boring to watch. I mean, this has not been like an exciting, like, oh my gosh, Viper's making all kinds of plays, but he's not falling off like a Viper normally does. This has been a Viper who has maintained his presence for 4 stages of this game.
Well, he's 15-2-3. Like, he hasn't died, really. He's been getting almost all of the kills right now. Does have, what, only 7 of them haven't come from him throughout the whole course of this game.
It's not a hero known for his ability to secure kills. It's not like you're a Lina or something. This is just pure right clicks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The Manta style also making sure that he's able to stay alive, and maybe going to be able to do something here now. Just going to vacuum 2 heroes back and jump forward, maybe on FY.
We'll turn around, throw a Sonic Wave out. FY, great wearing off, but doesn't look like CDEC want to commit onto this high ground just yet. Viper now with a MKB pickup means that this Butterfly not going to matter as much for Gyro. FY gets chopped down. That was without the God String. Oh boy, Vici Gaming in a lot of trouble for the high ground defense here. Still 10 seconds before Gyro's back.
And you kind of are wondering now with that crazy amount of damage that's coming out from this side, if it would have been good to make sure that you're able to hurt down that Viper. Oh, Roar comes down now on top of aggressive.
What are you doing there? My friend, that's not how to play this one. Luckily, the Sonic Wave was on cooldown. Otherwise, he would have been dead, but the Sonic Wave about to come up any second now. Blink forward. There's the Sonic Wave. Just gets the Darks here, though. Maybe he was fishing for the Sven further back, but Sven said, you guys are going to ignore me, I'm going to take your mid Rax. So Rax was claimed, aggressive, now comes back to the fight, but not sure he can fight into Super Ultra, while low on HP. Poison from the Queen of Pain, blink forward, aggressive. Easy kill, Cold Embrace not available. The Glimmer Cape, I don't think it's going to be enough. The poison is there, could go for a deny. He tried to go for a lifesteal, I guess. He tried to run and go for a creep there, but it's a team wipe nonetheless. If he wants, he could buy back, pick up some boots of travel, and go for the game-ending blow here, but possibly feeling confident in Shiki to do this by himself. Shiki, initially going for tier 4 towers, will quickly realize, it's not working, let's just get the bottom racks.
He was really the game changer again in that fight. They just can't burst him down. They don't have enough damage to make it happen right now. Like, even if you roar on top of him, you Sonic Wave on top of him, you throw the call down, everything else there, with the Glimmer Capes potentially being able to get tossed out on top of him, as well as just the 2200 HP he's got right now. He's so ridiculously tanky. And the Viper has taken over this game.
Well, that's it. GG is called, and we are going to a Game 3 decider here in Vici Gaming versus CDEC. Winner bracket semifinals of the Summit for China. The winner of this series is just 1 match away from coming to LA, and they'll have 2 shots at that 1 match. First in the winner bracket, and then in the lower bracket, as there'll be 2 China representatives. So fantastic series is brewing. We're going to a Game 3 decider, and I don't really feel like there's a clear favorite going into Game 3 right now, Lyrical.
No, not me either. And I'm curious if we're going to see some more craziness coming out from Vici that ended up winning them the first game, or if they're going to be able to just be confident in their straight-up play that we saw a little bit more normal and towards the meta this time around. We'll see what they go for.
Yep, well, we will see, guys. Stay tuned. You're watching the Summit for We've got myself, Gods, and Lyrical bringing you Vici Gaming versus CDEC game number 3 coming up after this.